back, ladies and gentlemen, to the
Yeah.
second half of the Brian Marshall podcast, and we're with Karl Truman again today. You may notice that we're dressed the same because we shot both of these in the same day, but time allows us to come back a week from now and follow up on the conversation we had last week. So tell me what happens. Give me the 30-second overview of the points that we're talking about, Jeremy, and explain again who he is on the top of the show here, and then we'll go back and pick up where we left off.
Well, as we talked about previously, Brian, Jeremy was convicted of theft by the government, claiming that even though he never received compensation and never took a dime from the Veterans Club, which has been admitted by the government, that because of his volunteer activities, that he could have been working at a occupation to make money and not be, because he was receiving VA, what's called TDIU, temporary disability based on individual unemployability.
So that everybody understands this, someone interrupt you.
Sure.
Here's what's crazy, and then I'll let...
Can I just correct?
Go ahead.
You said temporary, and you meant to say total.
Correct. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Yes, got a little tongue.
Total.
Good point.
Total TDIU stands for total disability based on individual unemployability.
Yeah.
I'm glad you could
Yeah.
pick up on that.
The first word, not the rest of it.
But here's the thing that bothers me is he was convicted, sent to federal prison, right?
Yes.
Federal prison time. I guess he's a felon now.
Yes.
As a result of taking benefits that they awarded him. And because he didn't say, hey, by the way, I volunteer with a veterans group, they considered that work, so therefore he was convicted because he still took the funds that they awarded him. Did anybody say, hey, you shouldn't be doing that? Or
Well, actually, no. And it used to be that the VA would send you a letter every year with a form to fill out, have you worked? And then because I guess saving paperwork, they put it on the veteran to say, if you work, and they use the word work, then you have to report that. And one of the ironies is that there is an income level. So even the VA criminal investigator testified, well, he could have worked full-time at Walmart and we never would have said a word. But
he would have still gotten the money.
Yeah. Wow. No, because there is an income limit,
like
a threshold, yes, that you can make money. Yes, the prosecutor, the investigator for the VA even testified on the stand, said, well, he could have worked full-time at Walmart as a greeter and we never would have said a word and gotten paid for it. But because of his activities with the Veterans Club, there's no dispute, he never received any compensation. But the point I was making about this form, the VA says, well, you have to notify us if you work. Well, what's your definition of work?
So important, yeah. Were you compensated?
My definition is you get paid for it.
Right.
and as I mentioned in
voluntary service is voluntary, and you don't get paid.
Right. Exactly. And so, we talked about last time, even the Department of Labor defines work as being compensated, earning income. He never earned any income, because of his passion about helping veterans. He is one of the few people that, that you hear people talk about, talk the talk and walk the walk. Well, he walks it, and he, such a caring person that, if there was a veteran in need, it doesn't matter if you're a veteran suffering PTSD and you need to talk to somebody, Jeremy would want to be those guys. If it's 2 a.m., he would take the call and be right there.
Yeah, that's interesting because it's, to me, if I have to describe that, and we're not using official definitions, and I get to just make up whatever I want, that sounds like ministry to me because I work in ministry, and especially since he's not getting paid,
right?
If he did this in church, was it the location?
Well, and
if he did it in church, would that be considered work too? It could be, huh?
Under their definition, if he's doing the activities, then their definition is they define that as work, even if it's volunteer at the church, which he did, and volunteering at different groups. But as we talked about on the last segment, in my opinion, I think that, and incidentally, it's my understanding this OIG investigator, Office Inspector General's, like the prosecutor arm of the VA, actually after Jeremy got convicted, he actually got an award for it.
Oh, good for him.
Yeah. So I think he had a motive to take down a high-profile individual.
Yeah, well, good. I hope he's happy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I'm sure they were high-fiving everybody.
I still believe in karma. This may turn out to be that enough attention would come to him that if this ever gets solved, that he could hopscotch over his problems and be further ahead than he would have ever been without it. Does that make sense?
Yes, and I don't want to digress too much, but Jeremy is such a man of faith. And again, he lives it. He doesn't just say it. And I've told him, said, Jeremy, you have to think about what is the lesson for you. There's a lesson here somewhere. There's a learning experience for you. You still have a purpose. This is not going to define you. And so the next steps, there's in both the criminal aspect and as I explained previously. So I did not represent him in the criminal case, but I am representing him in the VA disability case. So the criminal case, there are attorneys pursuing appeals with the Court of Appeals. I am pursuing an appeal from the VA disability aspect of it with the VA, what's called the Board of Veteran Appeals. And then if that's not favorable, then the next step is the Court of Appeals for Veterans Claims for veteran appeals. So
what's the time? What's the?
I mean, it could
years.
Yeah, years. Nothing moves quickly.
They hope to burn you down in the meantime, right? I give up, but
yeah, but it can take years, but with the issue that we're pursuing, we've conceded for the VA part of it as far as reducing his benefits because he was permanently rated at 70%. And as I explained previously, the TDIU is where they pay you as if you were at 100% because you're not able to have substantial gainful employment. Mm-hmm. And ironically, during this time too, he was also receiving Social Security disability. So the Social Security Administration determined that which is even a higher standard than the VA, that you cannot perform any substantial gainful activity. So the Social Security Administration, another arm of the federal government, said, we know you can't work. But again, the issue was in the criminal case because I think it all comes down to being high profile. He was on, again, podcasts like this. He was in media. He was a guest speaker at events, all on veteran causes, supporting veteran causes. And, running, they kept...
I just want to interject this. Was any of that contrary to the government? The government think he's doing something wrong?
He got accolades for it.
That's what I thought.
He got accolades for it but their whole argument was, well, they didn't care. Well, okay, you're not getting paid, but you could get paid.
If there was somebody there to pay you, but there's not.
Right, but you could have done this for another, you could have done this for another company and gotten paid. So therefore, we don't care if you're actually getting money. It's that you're doing the work. Because they kept throwing out, because his title was CEO of the Veterans Club. CEO of what? He's not CEO of General Motors. He's CEO of a volunteer club helping veterans.
The length at which they want to go retroactively too it's just there's something. I'm going to say just not right about that. I want to say disgusting, but I don't want to get over.
Yeah, you didn't say that, did you?
Yeah, it's just so. Why don't we set the books
sinister,
right?
Doesn't it? To say, so they're obviously they got the guy and they convict the guy and they put the guy in jail and that's still not enough. Let's go wipe him out financially.
Still not enough. Yes,
wipe him out financially. What's his family going to do?
His family is struggling because the government's wanting over $200,000 in back pay.
Somewhere I saw another, because I tried to catch up on this a little bit, that they tried to start a GoFundMe for this and they made him take it down.
Yes, I don't know all the details behind that or what the GoFundMe,
Well,
but there's some rule that they made them take it down.
Yeah. So,
And
what do you do? I mean, just what do they hope to do? Take him behind the barn and shoot him? I mean, is that the next? Might as well. What's left, right? What do you do with him?
It's again, it's
Can't
somehow
work,
just
I think they got what they wanted. Whoever
ma-
was getting what they wanted, I think they've got what they wanted. But I appreciate that you are taking his case, taking his side, here sharing with us today. Can I ask, at what point did you come into his defense? Were you there from the beginning of the criminal case? You said you weren't the attorney on that, but
Yes, I worked with him early on because I've known Jeremy for many years.
So
and I've been
before
a
this-
member of the Veterans Club for many years, so I've been active in the Veterans Club. So, I've known the good works that he's done and the organization. So, but again, I was not, because I don't do criminal work.
right.
So that's why I was not involved in the criminal case, but I was kind of an advisor because of my role in the veterans disability aspect of it.
Which is super key and important, but
Well, it is
Didn't seem
important,
to-
but I think that is one of the aspects that was just totally missed.
I agree. I'll agree with you on that. Oh my gosh.
So we started talking about. I think we got away from this, and that may have been my fault. But I said, what's next? What comes?
Yeah.
What now? What?
Well, now of course, from the court process, the criminal case is on appeal. Are there errors of law? And whenever you do an appeal, whether it's civil or criminal, the Court of Appeals doesn't reweigh the case. They don't say, well, I would have ruled differently. The role of the Court of Appeals is to say, was there an error of law, whether it's some evidence was not admitted that should have been, or admitted that shouldn't have been, or some rulings by the court. So that's the role of the Court of Appeals. The Court of Appeals isn't going to come back and say, well, no, we don't agree with the outcome, so we're going to change it. They look at the legal rules, were the legal rules followed. And in the VA side of it, which is where I come in, is looking at, again, arguing, we're not arguing that he should still be at 100%. We've conceded that for a lot of reasons. But the issue is, again, looking at the retroactive pay, because we're also dealing with the judge in the criminal case ordered restitution, claimed one date, but the VA were claiming a different date. So it's very confusing how those two are going to be reconciled. But I think that we've got some very good arguments with the VA. We start off at the initial level, then it goes to the Board of Veteran Appeals, which is where we are now.
Wow. And what does he do to live on a daily basis? Is he? I hate to say that. Is he working?
Well, no. I mean, he's been, been, because of all the trauma. I mean, he's had to, go back involved in some, treatment for his PTSD that he's dealt with, and also, obviously he was incarcerated for a period of time, so, he's try to get his
How do you
life
get
back
by
together.
with no?
Well, he's
No income.
he's
Well, not only-
married.
Yeah.
Not only his income, but they're also seizing his wife's bank account.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's very putting a hardship on the whole family.
Scott mentioned. I don't know what you know about this. He said we are trying to get him pardoned, and I'll tell you a quick story in just a second if you say yes, this is true. But that they were that they felt as though it were in the White House at that level to try to have him pardoned. Is that?
I'm not involved in that aspect of it, so I can't speak with authority. I have heard that is in the works, and I think if any case justifies it, this one would.
Here's the funny story I was going to tell you. I said in a similar situation on air that, and I explained why I wanted to work with Leonard Skinner's group. Somebody knew somebody who knew somebody, and I got a call from a lady. She goes, "Hi, my name is Patty. I'm in Manhattan with a public relations firm, and we represent them. So what exactly did you want?" And since then, she and I have become friends, and she's like, "Well, here's all their home phone. You want to call them? Here's the home phone numbers. You can reach these people." I was on the phone, I didn't get a chance to tell you that, but we're like for an hour and a half today with Gene Odom, who was kind of the road manager, went down on the plane with them, survived, and he's coming up in 2 weeks, so he's going to be on our podcast. Stay with me, and we're going to talk about music a little bit. I want to get in there on a Tuesday night. He wrote a few songs. It's not about me saying that. Here's the point. Let's tell the audience, if you know somebody who knows somebody.
That's a good point. Yeah.
That could get to the VA or the White House and say, take a look at this. I mean, you just never know who you're talking to.
Absolutely. I think that's a great point because, again, I think if anybody deserves some pardon on it, it's Jeremy. He definitely deserves it. I mean, just look at all the stuff he's done, and you still come back to the idea he never took a dime.
Yeah.
Never took a dime.
Yeah.
Didn't even claim mileage from the Veterans Club. Didn't claim meal reimbursement or air flight. Nothing.
Well, we're going to get about 20,000 views on this subject locally, and it'll be interesting to see if we get any response.
And I do want to emphasize again the fact that I think there's been some confusion of some people, and we've even heard that a juror thought that he took money from the Veterans Club, which is absolutely 100% not true. Even in trial, the government and the OIG investigator from the VA even conceded, no, we know he never took any money. He's done good work, but he could have been working.
So is there any other appeal that we should make to our audience today on what they might do to help? Is there anything that can be done?
Well, in the court process, I mean, that's there's no outside influences, but I think you bring up a very good point. If there's any influencers about potential pardon, that would be tremendous.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say that I'm going to leave it at that because we're going to wait in here and see what we can come up with, and we appreciate your time, and I assume you're not being amazingly compensated for all your time and work on this. So
no.
So I think it's good that he's got some friends in good places to try to help him out. And I was never a man of God, but 3 years ago I was invited. I went through a lot and was invited to join a Bible study. And these are 18 guys that were all military guys. Went to Iraq on a number of not just Iraq, but anyway, 18 military veterans, and invited me to join them. And I said, well, it seems like everybody sins according to this. And they said, yeah, but we're not sinless, but we sin less. And so I think he is a man of God, mm-hmm. and so
he is.
My sidekick over here, who's the background in theology, so we'll say a prayer for him and hope that this works out. So maybe there's the help we need. And
he was even ministering while he's incarcerated.
Well, good for him. Thanks for coming today.
Well, thank you.
We'll look forward. Let us know how it comes out. We want to know. Give us some feedback, and if the show can help, we want to hear that too.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.